Donald Trump should be here to answer for that, but he's not. You're not here tonight because you're afraid of being on the stage and defending your record. You're ducking these things. And let me tell you what's going to happen. You keep doing that, no one up here is going to call you Donald Trump anymore. We're going to call you Donald Duck.
Okay.
Where's Joe Biden? He's completely missing in action from leadership. And you know who else is missing in action?
Please tell me!
Donald Trump is missing in action.
So 7 candidates were on stage, but the one who was not, Donald Trump, may have benefited the most.
Oh boy, the presidential debate already took. Wait, let me rephrase that. This was the vice presidential debate. Because after the star of the show didn't show up again, which was Donald Trump. Well, he didn't have to. He's doing so well. These guys are only debating for, position number 2. Let's just be honest about it. What's my thought and perspective? To be honest with you, I was not impressed. Some people might be impressed. I wasn't. I thought some things were said were decent. For the most part, it was like, I'll say it was a clown show from my perspective.
Last debate, he said we were all bought and paid for. And I thought about that for a little while and said, I can't imagine how you could say that knowing that you were just in business with the Chinese Communist Party and the same people that funded Hunter Biden millions of dollars was a partner of yours as well.
Excuse me. Thank you for speaking while I'm interrupting. While I'm speaking.
You said bought and paid for.
If I may finish.
You can't be on both sides.
Let me explain to you why I feel that way. It's not because there weren't some good discussions. First of all, the consistent going after Vivek Ramaswamy was like, really?
Conversation about the things that are happening on this stage. We think about the fact that Vivek just said we were all good people, and I appreciate that because last debate he said we were all bought and paid for. And I thought about that for a little while and said, I can't imagine how you could say that knowing that you were just in business with the Chinese Communist Party and the same people that funded Hunter Biden millions of dollars was a partner of yours as well. It's not nonsense.
So look, here's what I want to respond. These are good people who are tainted by a broken system, and it's not the fault of anybody who's involved.
Some of us are tainted.
Excuse me. Thank you for speaking while I'm interrupting. While I'm speaking.
You said bought and paid for.
If I may finish.
You can't be on both sides.
Gentlemen, you'll have your turn.
One of the challenges we should have
please focus on the issues that matter.
Between Vivek and
business in China. Everybody knows that.
If I may address.
Oh my goodness, Tim Scott was out of control. I thought he did somewhat well in the debate, better than the first time. I think Tim Scott stepped up a little bit, using a little bit of his charismatic spirit and talk about some issues. Somewhat decent, but the going after Vivek Ramaswamy shows me that these people are really afraid of Vivek. They saw what Vivek did the first debate, and they were like ready to take him down like some savage wolves, man. You saw throughout the debate, Vivek was consistently being heckled and wasn't given a chance to speak. This is not to say, I think Vivek still did well. I think he did well, and I'm not so much for Vivek. I'm just giving you an honest opinion here from what I saw. I don't trust Vivek. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't trust Vivek as a decent politician. He doesn't have my vote. I like him as a character. He can talk, man. He has the gift of gab. However, he's not an impressive politician from my perspective at all. I think he has a lot of good words, but he doesn't have the experience. So for me, it's kind of like that's a major problem for me.
Holding Joe Biden accountable. That's what we need to be focusing on.
I actually agree with Ron DeSantis.
Everybody speaking at the same time, no one can understand
exactly.
your message.
So if I may, I agree with Ron DeSantis on China. When every other CEO expanded into the Chinese market, you know what I did with my first company? We opened a subsidiary in China. But you know what I did that was different than every other company? We got the hell out of there. And when I started my next company, Strive, right when that's years ago.
2023.
Right when I started my next company, Strive, to compete against BlackRock. Excuse me.
No.
To compete against BlackRock, I made a commitment that we would never do business in China. And I will say something.
I think you have more than time to explain your point.
Well, I was interrupted by a lot of people here, and I want to be respectful because I believe these
you
are
weren't
good
respectful
people.
last.
The interruption was really bad. I don't think that was right. Anyway, that's my thought and perspective. However, another person that really got my attention here was Ron DeSantis. I did not expect him to do as well as I thought he did.
They are the reason for that. They have shut down our national sovereignty by allowing our border to be wide open. So please spare me the crocodile tears for these people. They need to change what's going on. And where's Joe Biden? He's completely missing in action from leadership. And you know who else is missing in action? Donald Trump is missing in action. He should be on this stage tonight. He owes it to you to defend his record, where they added $7.8 trillion to the debt. That set the stage for the inflation that we have now. I can tell you this as governor.
To be honest with you, I would like to see Donald Trump, because I think Donald Trump's presence will make these debates a lot more interesting. To be honest, watching this stuff was like, I mean, whatever. Yeah, cool. A lot of words, solid and so on. But yeah, I hear you. But all right, but not impressive. That was me again. I'm usually the kind of guy who can put up with a lot of boring stuff. For those of you who know me, I'm very I speak really slow and things like that, and I can digest a lot of stuff that are very not very interesting. However, it's just the last night debate didn't impress me at all.
Governor of Florida, we cut taxes, we ran surpluses, we've paid down over 25% of our state debt, and I vetoed wasteful spending when it came to my desk. And as your president, when they send me a bloating spending bill that's going to cause your prices to go up, I'm going to take out this veto pen and I'm going to send it right back to them. Well, the crime in these cities is one of the strongest signs of the decaying of America. We can't be successful as a country if people aren't even safe to live in places like Los Angeles and San Francisco. Just being in Southern California over the last couple of days, my wife and I have met 3 people who have been mugged on the street, and that would have never happened 10 or 20 years ago. In Florida, we back the blue. We support the men and women of law enforcement. They are keeping us safe. We have a 50-year low in the crime rate. And yes, when I had 2 progressive prosecutors that weren't following the law in Florida, I removed them from their posts, and the people of Florida are safer as a result of it. As president, I will use the Justice Department to bring civil rights cases against all of those left-wing Soros-funded prosecutors. We're not going to let them get away with it anymore. We want to reverse this country's decline. We need to choose law and order over rioting and disorder.
All right, I think Ron really did an excellent job this time. What do you guys think? From your perspective, what happened here?
The thing that I just find interesting.
Ron, let me finish
all
this.
These guys have said
here's the
things,
fact.
and I appreciate a lot of the things they're saying.
Nikki
I'm
Haley,
the only one up here who's gotten in the big fights and has delivered big victories for the people of Florida. And that's what it's all about. You can always talk, but when it gets hot in there, when they're shooting arrows at you, are you going to stand up for parents' rights, to keep the state free? Are you going to be able to do all those things? And in the state of Florida, because of our success, the Democratic Party lies in ruins. We have won the big fights. We have turned our state into a Republican state. People respond to leadership. I've done it while others have talked about it.
Ron DeSantis was really on fire. I'll tell you what, I give him a lot of respect for that, and I think his remarks were just right on point. There were things that he talked about and addressed that I will say, and he does have a rap sheet. I mean, beside Trump, Ron DeSantis was definitely one of those candidates that I will say on the stage was somewhat impressive to me. I think Nikki Haley was good, and Governor Tim Scott was great. And I know the Vivek Ramaswamy wasn't as impressive as he was, but he was still good with his words. When he had a chance to speak, he made a lot of sense. Let me listen to Governor Tim Scott this time.
Ronald Reagan for firing air traffic controllers in the 1980s, saying, "You strike, you're fired." Would you fire thousands of striking auto workers today, Senator?
Obviously, the President of the United States cannot fire anybody in the private sector. However, we should look back at the first bill in Congress under Joe Biden. The first bill had $86 billion for the union pensions because they continue to overpromise yet underdeliver. One of the challenges that we have in the current negotiations is that they want 4-day French work weeks, but more money. They want more benefits, working fewer hours. That is simply not going to stand. I'll say this, Joe Biden should not be on the picket line. He should be on the southern border working to close our southern border because it is unsafe, wide open, and insecure, leading to the deaths of 70,000 Americans in the last 12 months because of fentanyl. It is devastating. Every county in America is now a border county because fentanyl has devastated Americans in every single state. I will also say 6 million illegal crossings since Joe Biden has taken office, and he eliminated Title 42. The one thing he should do is finish the wall, reinstate Title 42, and get the job done.
I mean, the Joe Biden remark was spot on. I think Joe Biden's going there, trying to show up, join the picket line. I don't necessarily think it was against Joe Biden's decision. Somebody told him to do it. Well, Donald Trump is running circle around these Democrats that it's almost like they have to keep up with Trump, even though he's not even a president. But what he is doing is influence to the point where Joe had to go down there and show his face. But again, Joe is supporting the very policies that are impacting the lives of those individuals, those automobile manufacturers. The reasons why they're going through some of this is because of the same Joe Biden's policy to end, fossil fuels. Like, it's like, duh, you are the reasons why they are striking, right? But all of a sudden you want to go down there and show your support. It's like, these politicians are a bunch of actors, I'll tell you what. But I listened to Vivek Ramaswamy a little bit here, and then I'm going to share a final thought, and we bring this video to an end.
But I do go a step further. You're right about that, Ilya. I favor ending birthright citizenship for the kids of illegal immigrants in this country. Now, the left will howl about the Constitution and the 14th Amendment. The difference between me and them is I've actually read the 14th Amendment. What it says is that all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the laws and jurisdiction thereof are citizens. So nobody believes that the kid of a Mexican diplomat in this country enjoys birthright citizenship. Not a judge or legal scholar in this country will disagree with me on that. Well, if the kid of a Mexican diplomat doesn't enjoy birthright citizenship, then neither does the kid of an illegal migrant who broke the law to come here. I have to be very clear about this. Transgenderism, especially in kids, is a mental health disorder. We have to acknowledge the truth of that for what it is. I met two young women early in this campaign.
Specifically on parental rights in schools.
Parents have the right to know. And you know what the hypocrisy of this is? Even New Hampshire failed to actually get past a piece of legislation here. The very people who say that this increases the risk of suicide are also the ones saying that parents don't have the right to know about that increased risk of suicide. And I'm sorry, it is not compassionate to affirm a kid's confusion. That is not compassion, that is cruelty. I met two young women, Chloe and Katie, early in this campaign, who are in their 20s, now regret getting double mastectomies and a hysterectomy. One of them will never have children. And the fact that we allowed that to happen in this country is barbaric. So I will ban genital mutilation or chemical castration under the age of 18. Ilya mischaracterized a part of my view. I think this artificial division is unhelpful in our party. The real divide is not between the Republicans on this stage. And in the Reagan Library, I want to say these are good people on this stage. The real divide is between the majority of us in this country who love the United States of America and share our founding ideals. Free speech, meritocracy, the idea you get ahead in this country not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character, and the fringe minority in the Democrat Party that has a chokehold over that party. That's the real divide. Right. So this populist versus classical debate is artificial. Ilya? We need to unite this party.
I'll tell you what, man. Vivek Ramaswamy is good, man. He's good with his words. The more you listen to him, it's the more impressed you become. And I think that's why they had to stop him from speaking so much. they interrupted him so bad. However, I'm not convinced. Hear me tell you why. It takes more than good words to run a country. It takes more than good looks and verbiage, and syntax. That's good in convincing people. But when it comes to getting things done, give me my Donald Trump, man. I'll tell you, give me Trump, man. Vivek, we talk about you 2028 or something. Not now, buddy. Anyway, I think the debate was it wasn't as impressive as I thought it could be. Tim Scott came way up there from my perspective. I think Ron DeSantis is number 1, Tim Scott number 2, Vivek Ramaswamy number 3, Nikki Haley number 4, and the rest of them, I don't give them any spots. I just okay. There's nothing. You guys have to figure it out down there. Anyway, you know what, man? I think Trump is doing all the right thing. I don't think Trump is ever gonna show up for one of those debates. From my perspective, his numbers are so great that he doesn't have to show up. All he has to do is just keep doing what he's doing. You know what Trump is doing? Trump keeps going to the people. Like you notice what he's doing? He instead of going to the top and everything, even though he does these interviews in the media, but that's not the goal. The goal seems to me, from my perspective, is like Trump is going to visit the workers, right? He's having discussion with different people. He's visiting Iowa. He's having these campaigns, and it goes to show Trump is actually going to the heart. And as long as he's winning the heart, what's happening on this debate stage is a waste of time. So he understands that, and I think this is why Trump doesn't need to show up, and he's still gonna win anyway. I personally, to be honest with you, I don't see how any of these men will get my vote. Ron DeSantis tonight, I would say, was good, but none of them will get my vote for president because I was not impressed at all. But if Trump was on the stage, I think he would make a lot more sense. Anyway, that's just my thought and perspective. Share your thought and perspective with me. How do you think they did in this debate? Let me know how you feel about this video. What's your thought and your comment as well? Share. I would like to hear from you. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.